And hi there, Tilton talk show fans all across the world. It's Watto, it's Wednesday, and I'm bringing you the final um, episode from the pre season. And basically, we're going to sum up what we've seen and basically, more importantly, where we go from here. Now, I'd just like to give a little plug to my friend and colleague, Craig Courtney, who did his um, away day broadcast, um, which is remarkably, I mean, it always was decent, but it was remarkably good this week, because um, he spoke with his counterpart at Reading, who was an interesting bloke as it happened, and talked knowledgeably about his own club and us and the players that have played for both sides. But the interesting thing for me was Craig had got a new subject, a new Birmingham City to talk about. And the guy he was talking to also had a new Birmingham City that was new to him as well. And it made for a fascinating broadcast. I strongly recommend you, after you watch this wonderful episode, that you flip onto Craig's blog and watch it, because it's really worthwhile. Now then, um, this blog's going all the way around the world, and just I like to say a few welcomes to my favourite countries around the world. Firstly, Finland, Päivä terve, and um, Germany, uh, Tschüss, and France, hello, and Spain, buenos dias, Italy, buongiorno, Scotland, okay, Ireland, how are you, and Wales, uh, Yakida. And for those of you in Australia, get up, you know what time it is. Okay, now then, we started off this pre-season with basically chaos. Our planes didn't come to take us to Austria. We had 2 days instead of 4 to prepare for a friendly. Sorry, I must not use that word. A pre-season match. Whether they're friendly or not is open to question, but they are pre-season, and that's all you can say about them. And it was a disaster. We were badly prepared, and we the old excuses came out. It's all about getting the legs and minutes in the legs and all the usual cliches. And we've discussed this to the nth degree. We got hammered 5-0, and whatever the meaning of that game was, a 5-0 drubbing wasn't what we were looking for. But uh, we went on to Solihull Borough, and we look a bit better organised, and we played some decent football and scored 3 goals, all against conference opposition, admittedly. Um, but we saw the first signs of Alfie May, the goal poacher, and he netted from a pass from uh, Laird, who, now remember, assist by Laird, goal by May. That's going to crop up a lot of times this season, I promise you. Uh, we went on to Shrewsbury, which was our uh, first match you could really say, well, we're taking on opposition that we're going to be meeting. So whatever we do today, albeit a pre-season game, will point uh, to what we're likely to see. And we played pretty well. Scored 2 goals. 2 goals. I mean, we scored 3 against Solihull, 2 against Shrewsbury. We're flying. We're off. We're off the 1 goal a game, mate. Level that we've been suffering from for 10 years, and suddenly the ball's going in the net. Shrewsbury onto Rangers. Now that this was a big game, and if anybody wanted to call it a friendly, well, it was a pre-season game. It was a jubilee, a memorial match for Trevor, and the two teams put on a magnificent show. And Blues were terrific. Now, I wouldn't say that the Rangers team they put out was, top notch, but these blokes, have played in Europe and so on, and have got lots of experience, especially playing in games like that where they turn up somewhere in England and 10,000 of their fans turn up and whatever. So that was a great test and a great result. Went on to Warsaw, different kind of game, a little more a little more like the real thing, if you like, if you want to put it that way. Um, we kept a clean sheet again and scored a good goal. Perhaps one. Warsaw were no mugs, and from what I saw, they might do all right this year. You know, scrubbing round the bottom 6 or 7 of League Two is not what we expect from that team. They are a better club than that. And ex Blue Nose Matt Sadler, I really hope that you pull it off uh, and really bring Walsall along this year. And then finally, we have what is a, a measure of how far we've come, because we're playing a team that are literally a division above us. They were sixth in the Premier in the Championship, and we were third from bottom, and we've dropped um, into League One, and they're still one of the fancied teams for at least the playoffs. And frankly, they didn't come to the party. Blues just overran them. Uh, they were just not at it. Blues pressed them all over the pitch. Eventually scored 4 goals. Um, all came from the press, basically. Nothing where we played through them. Didn't have to. They didn't get anywhere near us for us to play through them. Now, as the players lined up for the minute silence for Craig Shakespeare, sadly passed away recently, uh, I couldn't help but look at the two teams lined up, and it was like the big boys against the little boys. I remember at school, we had a very good under 15 team, and to test us, we we took on the school's first 11, which was sort of under 16s to under 18s, and there were some big guys in there. And I remember thinking, we are we're in for a battering. And I looked at the Albion side, and it was down to the Giants. They were enormous, and our blokes were all normal. I mean, Bielik's quite big, and obviously William Williamson is a big man, but he was dwarfed by these people. And when the score got to 1-1, we conceded a goal because of our lack of height. Uh, a lob across the goal, headed back, went over Bielik's head, and there was another giant to tap it in uh, unpressed. And I'm thinking, this is not only going to be a problem for us today, but I can think of a few occasions where we might just go somewhere where they're full of giants and hump the ball in our box, and it only takes one time to miss a header or be muscled out and bump goal down. But thankfully, the defence, Sanderson was outstanding. Bielik, who got injured, was apart from the goal, was doing all right, and then he got injured, and we brought on the big Austrian, who was outstanding. So there was a great relief from myself, thinking, well, we can cope. If we need to, we can cope with this kind of thing. And with respect to League One, they won't quite do it as well as the Albion did. Um, it was the only Albion's form of attack. They just didn't trouble us apart from that. Big eyeballs in the box, certainly in the first half, had us turn in and spin in occasionally, but second half, um, with Clara coming on, and Sanderson, really started to look a player. Um, we coped, and then we pressed. We got the ball up in their half and pressed them, and they couldn't cope. And all 3 goals in the second half were scored when basically we took the ball off them. The first one, the ball was cleared and then put back in, and there was a header, and our guy flicked it on. The Austrian flicked it on, made it 2-1, and then which one came next? But the goal of the game for me was the last one, where Alfie May, aided by Roberts, who stole the ball after the Albion's back 2 and left May clear on a 1-on-1, and now we know he can put the ball in the net, but a 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, he sailed round him, dropped his shoulder, keeper dived, he pushed the ball round him, and even though there was a defender running back on the line, he just rolled it in the corner of the net, and you'll hear me use this expression over and over again. That was Jimmy Greaves at his best. That's how Jimmy Greaves got a lot of his goals. 1-on-1 with the keeper, leaved him in the dust, tap it in the net. And so we finished pre-season. Alfie May's got 5 goals to his name. When have we had somebody who scored 5 goals in 5 games? Never. And certainly not in pre-season. Now, again, we've signed a few players. This young Leonard has come into the side, and he's impressed people. We've had Luke Harris from Fulham, who so far hasn't had a chance to kick a ball in anger. There was a behind closed doors friendly against Spurs under 21s on Monday. I haven't seen any details from that, but I suspect Leonard and Luke Harris made up our midfield on that occasion. So hopefully, I don't think Leonard or Harris will be anything other than on the bench on Saturday. But boy, that bench is looking something special. It really is. From the goalkeeper to, Dukey's probably, with the greatest respect, the weakest link on there. He really is. But hey, if you need a goal with 10 minutes to go, and the opposition have been twisted and turned and stretched for 70 or 80 minutes, and you get Dukey coming on and powerhousing them, well, that looks good to me. But I don't want Dukey coming on 10 minutes to go when we need a goal. I want Dukey coming on with 10 minutes to go when we're 4 up, and he can stretch his legs and enjoy himself. But anyway, that's how the pre-season's gone. Awful to start with, brilliant to finish, and you can't ask for any more than that. That's what your pre-season is for. Get them up to speed. And this man, Chris Davies, has done exactly that. In the meantime, he's added players. We're up to 9 new players now. We're still waiting for news of Stansfield, and we still hold out hope that he will eventually come. Now, rumours again, that he will come, but not before the end of August. And he's been in Fulham squad's pre-season, and at the moment looks like he's going to be needed for that month. But for some reason, and I don't quite understand, Fulham want to keep him for that time, and he will depart when the Fulham squad is strengthened. Obviously, they've still got a month like us to put their team into place and bring in new ones and so on, and then we can hope. I feel that Stansfield might end up And again, I go back to this Birmingham City bloke, this American guy going over and over and over the same ground, not interested. Where's when the bloke signed and he's in the building? Tell us then. We don't want any more rumours. We've had 6 weeks of it, and we're fed up. We're going to get on with the business now. As my favourite saying, when the red flag drops, the bullshit stops. And Saturday night at 5:30, that's what's going to happen. Now, every bookmaker in the land has got us favourites to win the league. Every pundit I've listened to has got us nailed on, if not to win it, being the first two. And from where I'm sitting at the moment, and this is a snapshot, it could all go tits up on Saturday. Somebody makes a bad back pass. Somebody gets a bad decision. There's a silly free kick given away. It rebounds off somewhere, ends up in the net. Reading put the bus in front of the goal, and we get beaten 1-0, and the house of cards will just topple over. That's the worst case scenario. Best case scenario is we wipe the floor with them, and we're quite capable of doing that. We really are. Now, Reading themselves have had a decent pre-season. They've beaten a couple of championship sides themselves. So, considering all the rubbish they've gone through over the last 2 or 3 years, they are relatively happy. They have had no new players because they can't buy any, or the owners that they've got, who they can't get rid of, won't buy any. But there is a better feeling in their camp than there has been for some time. Now, you stick Harley Dean in their side in the back four, and as much as he loves us, he loves his win bonuses just as much, as I would say. So, we don't want to let him score a winning goal or anything silly like that, do we? And Harley, if you're listening, just don't do anything silly, like coming up in our box and heading a goal. Don't do that. Just stay calm, pick your money up at the end of the day, and we'll get on with our season. Okay. Now, so are we going to win it? It sounds silly to be even talking this way when we haven't kicked the ball yet in anger. But the football has been so impressive in the last 4 games, that it's not like any Birmingham City team I've ever seen. Don't know how far you go back. We relied on ball-winning midfielders, tough defenders, and pacey forwards. The Francises and the Latchfords and the Hattons, who just outspeed the opposition. Even going back in the last 10 years, we've had centre forwards with a bit of pace, and wingers. Gary Burke's probably the best player we had in the last 10 years, up until 2 years ago when we started building what we've got now. I don't know where we're going to fit all these players in, to be honest. I mean, there's talk of bringing in Dembele's younger brother. Now, where he would fit in to the situation, who knows? Because he's virtually a repeat of Shrieky Dembele. And we've got Eriksen, who was exalted from the highest. And suddenly he's looking like he's not going to start. probably be Dembele. Now, we discussed Dembele last week, and if he don't do his job, he's going to have two people to take his place, his brother and Ericsson. It's exciting. It really is exciting. I can't point to anything that says, hold your horses, you're getting in front of yourself. Well, we probably are because, you know, we've never had a pre-season like this, and we've never had. Although this time last year we had 13 new players in, and of course by the end of 10 games we were in the top six, and we thought we got this right. And then our wonderful owners started messing around and employing idiots, and the whole thing fell as I say, like a pack of cards. I'm not going to talk about the ground improvements because, as far as I'm concerned, there hasn't been any. My seat has not been occupied yet, and I because of the wonderful Sky TV and the kickoff time being put back to 5:30, I can't get home. I could stop at my son's or my daughter's in London on the way back, but they're both on holiday, and I can't get in. So I shall be stuck in front of whatever television company allows me to watch, and that'll be it. There'll be an empty seat, and so it will be a sellout because I've already paid for my seat, but I can't use it. But that's it. There will be people whining and dining in a few new facilities, and good luck to them. But me, if I was there, I'd be having my sandwich and a cup of tea in the main stand, and I say that main stand is older than I am and has not been improved as far as I know. Now, I can't go to the Wrexham game, which is on the Monday night, for the same reason. I'd have to stay overnight, and with the greatest respect, it's cost me enough money already this season that I've just got to bite my tongue and say I'd love to be there, but I'll have to watch it on the box. But I promise you, as soon as they have a 3 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday afternoon, right? I will maybe even get there earlier and ask to see some of these wonderful facilities so I can come on here and tell you all about them. But at the moment, they're just a thing in other people's imagination, as far as I'm concerned. Now then, also next week, and this will be very interesting, is a match in the Football League Cup, whatever that's called at the moment, against Charlton. Now, Charlton Athletic will be one of our contenders, shall we put it that's right, to knock us off our perch. They've had a good pre-season. They've got rid of Andy May and sold him to us, who was the best goal scorer in the division for the last 3 years. They have replaced him, though I can't find out who. They have won some serious pre-season games. They beat Portsmouth from the Championship, and they've had games against non-league opposition, got 6 or 7 against them, but the games against league sides, they've been quite impressive. Now, what will we do? What will we do? We've got all these players, and we've got to we're gonna get our money's worth. Are we going to send a second string side to Charlton? Now, if we do, for the first time but a long, long time, probably since we were in the Premiership, can we do that and go to an opposition with an almost second team and expect to win? Now, it won't be easy because, as I said, Charlton will be one of the contenders. Of course, they will be thinking the same thing. Whatever happens to them on Saturday, they could have a dozen injuries or whatever. They will probably put a shadow side out. Who knows? But then they might think, well, I know Birmingham are going to come with half a team. Let's give it the full wet. Let's knock them out. Let's knock them out and move on and gain some cash. It will be very interesting. I think we will probably put people in, but we don't want to change everybody. We only want to change places where we can put a genuine replacement in, not a 15-year-old kid who just happens to be. If Ethan Laird has not got a replacement, which he hasn't at the moment, then he'd have to play. Right, you play right back. Okay, we've got three centre halves vying for the position, and perhaps a youngster. We can wiggle around, but I would pick two out of the senior three. Left back, we got nobody to replace Cochrane at the moment because Buchanan is injured, and reports are coming back that he's a good player, but he's made of glass and he's got a bit of a poor injury record. Now the midfield, goodness me, we've got more midfielders than that, so you can pick any four across the middle. And up front, we're going to give Dookie a game. We got to give Andy May a game against his old club, haven't we? We can't let him. We can't. To be honest, we can't take the field for it without him, because unless we get another striker in, he's our only hope of scoring. When I say hope, he's the only one who is likely, most likely to score a goal. A goal could come from anywhere, but 5 out of 13 we scored pre-season have come from him. That's a big percentage of your goal power. If you take that out, anyway, as I say, give Craig's blog a look, and by the time you see this, let's hope we've won a few more gold medals, and those two blokes who keep beating up the girls, somebody puts a spike in there, gin and tonic, and they get knocked out. Who's going to do it at that point? You're going to find a very big person, a female, to do it. And anyway, it's another scandal that this country is having to deal with. So God bless you all, and I'll see you next Wednesday after the Charlton game. God bless.